and welcome to Audrey's Boreal Baking. So today we're going to make a bit of autumn cookie, and so it's going to be a pumpkin spice cookie filled with a cream cheese filling. And so we need to start with a cream cheese filling because it has to freeze and the cookies have to freeze also. So for the beginning it's quite easy. So in this bowl here I have already measured 225 grams of cream cheese, and in this little bowl I have 50 grams of just regular sugar. So I'm going to put that in here, and I'm going to add a dash of vanilla to the mix, and I'm just going to mix for 1 or 2 minutes. So now that the cream cheese is mixed in just this little mixture, I'm going to make little balls because it's going to be the center of our cookie. So I have here this mini ice cream scoop, and I'm not going to even fill it right to the top. I'm going to go halfway perhaps, and I'm going to make little balls in this prepared container. So it's going to be ready to be sent to the freezer because those have to be put inside cookies. It's easier when they're frozen. So that goes to the freezer. All right, now it's time to mix the cookies. So we have the filling that's in the freezer that's pretty much ready to be in there. It's been there for about 40 minutes now, which should be enough to manipulate. So here's the recipe for the cookies, and so in this bowl I have 230 grams of really cold butter. I just put it to the fridge so it stays cold, and it's important that it's very cold. So what we are going to do now is that we have to break the butter a little bit now, just so that the chunks are a bit smaller. So that's pretty much what we want. So to that I'm going to add both sugars, and I forgot to sieve. So in my sieve I need to put my sugars. Then I'm going to break this down a little bit more. Now, this is what we're looking for, still bigger nuggets of butter, but you know, this kind of nuggetsy stuff, that's what we want. So to this bit of nuggets, we're going to add now the flour and the spices. And so I have, like I said, 500 grams of flour that I'm going to sift in this bowl. And to that I have spices. So in my little bowl, I don't know if you can see, but in my little bowl here I have 4 teaspoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, a 4 teaspoons of nutmeg, a 4 teaspoons of baking soda, and a 4 teaspoons of salt. So now, as you can tell, we're adding only dry ingredients. So it's going to be making like a very dry looking mixture, but again, that's what we want. So let's give that a bit of a mix. So we still have all of those big chunks here, which is exactly what we want. So now we're going to add the wet ingredients, and we need to stir the wet ingredient as little as possible. So I'm going to break my egg here in another bowl. I'm going to add it straight to my pumpkin puree, and I'm going to give that a bit of a stir. So let's put this in. And as you can see, I received my nice new counter, so I have this whole space now to bake on and to stand up. It's wonderful. So that's enough. It's starting to kind of clump up together, so that's as far as we want to take this. So now I'm going to turn this onto my counter, and I'm going to try to bring this dough a little bit together, and I'm going to make little balls. I'm going to make balls of 100 grams each and try to bring that into a dough. I'm not kneading it really, it's not like bread. I just want to bring it together. And again, we don't want to get this dough to be too warm. Okay, so I have my little balls here that have been freezing for a bit. They're not super kind of solid, but solid enough that we can work with. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to take balls of about 100 grams in my scale here, so that I'm going to pierce a hole in the middle of my cookie. I'm going to take a blob of cream cheese. Ooh, this is soft still. And I'm going to enrobe it as best as I can. So now that you have your balls done, I just took a bowl of sugar here with some sugar and cinnamon and some other spices. I didn't measure it. And so I'm going to put it here and coat it with sugar as best you can, and put it to a container, because those cookies, I'm afraid to say, cannot be eaten or cooked right away. They have to go to the freezer for about 90 minutes. And so we will have to be patient a little bit to be able to taste those cookies. So I'm going to finish rolling all these cookies, and I'll put them to the freezer. Here in Finland, to find something pumpkin spice is not as common. I mean, you can find some, but it's definitely not a big thing. So if you want pumpkin spice stuff, you're better off just to do it yourself. Okay, so now that our cookies have been rolled and in the freezer for, I guess, 4 hours now, it's time to take them out. And so my oven is on, and it's hot at 200 degrees, because we want our cookies to be really crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. And so I have my cookie sheet in the oven because I want it to be really hot. So I'm going to take my cookies out. They're really frozen. And like I said, it's nice and hot. So they spread a little, these cookies, so don't put them too close to one another. So I'm gonna put those in the oven for like 12-15 minutes, and we don't want to bake them through. We just want to have like the sides a little bit brown, but don't take them out of the cookie sheet, because they'll collapse. So you need to leave them there to cool, and then after that you can eat them. So check out that plate of cookie. They look so nice and chunky and delicious. So maybe I open one here so you can see inside. Oh, look at the nice gooey inside. Beautiful. Let me have a taste. The pumpkin spice really kind of comes through. It's a little bit kind of a cheesecake inside. Delicious cookie. Bye!